Yo, 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 what's happening, man? How you doing today?
Man, I'm blessed. How about yourself, brother?
Oh man, I'm blessed and highly favored. I like that slogan, man. I heard in fact I heard when I interviewed Prince Marky D, I says, man, you know what? Prince Marky D said I'm blessed and highly favored, so I'm gonna take that from him.
Good one. That's a good one to use.
No, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And so check it out. So for all of the listeners that's listening, you know your boy DJ Mr. Chris, you know what we do. Y'all know what we do. And so again, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not tripping with y'all because today I have some talent on the show. Real talk, y'all. You know how I do it. So today I have a man here who has the ability to write, sing, and perform. So just a little resume of what this man has done. He's a Billboard 100 charted songwriter and written songs for Flo Rida, Madonna, David Guetta, Chris Brown. And there was a pause because Chris Brown, y'all know what time it is. Sean Kingston, that's just to name a few. Today's guest that I have on Hip-Hopcalypse, singer, songwriter, performer, Jackie's boy.
Hey,
Jackie's boy, what's up, baby boy? How you doing, man?
man, you know what? I'm living the life, man, trying to stay safe, stay active during these times. So I'm really just blessed, to tell you the truth. I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you for having me as well.
No, that's what's up. Okay, so I heard some cuts.
Yeah,
I heard some cuts, and yo, they banging, man. They
thank you.
banging. They are banging. Um, the songs that were sent to me, one of the songs that I really like was a song called "In" because it has a flavor to it. Why don't we
Mhm.
let the listeners know before we get into your roots a little bit? Why don't we let the listeners know? In fact, let's go back a little bit. If we can edit this out, but let's go back a little bit. Why don't we let
Let's
the
go.
listeners know a little bit about your roots? Where you from, man?
Yeah, originally I'm from Savannah, Georgia. It's a smaller town outside of Atlanta. It's about 4 hours south. And man, humble beginnings. It's a really kind of chill spot. A lot of 9 to 5 workers. But it's home, and I've always loved Savannah.
Okay, so now you and your brother, now it's just you now, but you and your brother comprised was comprised of Jackie's boys, Jackie boys,
Jackie Boys. Yep.
Jackie boys, man. And so and y'all was causing some ruckus. And so now does this mean that you're a solo artist? You're just a solo production yourself?
At the moment, yes. It just means that me and my brother, obviously, we conquered a lot of things in the music industry. We're both very happy in our lives, and for me, doing solo music is an itch that I needed to scratch, and actually so happy that I got support from him and many others who believed in my talent and gift and told me to go do my thing. So I'm excited.
Okay. So you've written songs and worked with the likes of, like I said, David Guetta, Chris Brown. How was those experiences for you, man? When you write a song for megastars or just anybody in general, man, what's the thought process behind that? How much of it do you have to understand who that person is and their personalities as well as what they're able to do with regards to their talent in that whole writing process?
Well, I think a lot of it, man, you got to be able to, tap into, I believe, the psyche of who that artist is. Before I do any session, an artist comes into the studio, I'm like, let's go get something to eat. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? You like coffee? Let's grab coffee. I don't like coffee, but we can just chill out and I can watch you drink coffee.
Right.
I try I try to find a way to stay, engaging with the artist so that way I can kind of get a little bit of their story. Because I feel like how can you really write something with or for someone if you don't really know who they are? So for me, it was very important to tap into that and just get to know a person on a one-on-one basis.
Okay. And so how was that experience? And so Flow Rider, banging.
Yeah,
Uh but
thank you.
let's just take an icon. Let's take a legend like Madonna.
Yeah, yeah. Madonna, that process was, honestly, I was kind of played more of the background than anything. It was a song that was written prior to me meeting her. And the song was called Revolver, and it was just a concept that I had, and I thought that this song would be, be great. So we pitched it around to various different artists at the time. I believe like Pussycat Dolls, Rihanna, a few of the artists had
Right.
had took this record, and right when we were getting ready to figure out who the next artist was that was going to commit officially, it was Madonna, and that really changed the whole landscape of everything. I wasn't in the studio with her, thank God, because, and no shade to Madonna, it's just like when you have an icon like that, I didn't want to meet her and have my impressions of her be different from what I think they are in my mind.
Right.
I think
Right.
we have
Right.
those in our mind of like meeting our people that we like, oh man, and I want to keep the imagery or the fantasy of what I think Madonna is always in my mind and not reality.
Right. Right. But I mean, for Icon to sing your song and everything like that, whatever capacity, if she meets you or not, that's still an honor.
That
It's still an honor. Definitely two thumbs up.
yeah.
So, and one of the things that one thing that I do like to do on my show, because of the listeners that's listening who, for some reason or another, want to break into the music industry, those that's aspiring and has an aspiration to be in the music industry. How does one become a songwriter writing for icons and legends? How did you break into it? How did you
Well,
break into music in general?
I got in from being a street performer, busking in Savannah, Georgia, LA at the Santa Monica Pier, Hollywood and Highland, Burbank. I mean, you name it, all over the LA area, around 2003 to 2009. It was
Venice Beach for sure.
Venice Beach, yeah, all those spots. So I really kind of honed in on the fact that no one was going to give this to me, right? I'm one of so many millions of people that want to break in. But the one thing I knew that I had was talent and the ability to be fearless in the sense of meeting people on a whim and just talking to them or trying to sing for them. So, I purchased some equipment, music equipment, some speakers, and my little old school iPod, put a bunch of songs on there, a bunch of instrumentals, and start singing 5 hours a day for the course of 5-6 years.
So, listeners, y'all listen, y'all hear that hard work and perseverance, and with that, it's you really start to find out the people that support you as well as the people that don't support you as well during that whole process. Um, and I think the hardest part is, but really you don't have to do it, is to get people to see your vision and to believe in your dream. No matter how mundane or crazy it is, you need to surround yourself with people that is going to believe in your vision and believe in your dream. Because this young man here, hey y'all, he's in the studio writing songs. I know y'all see the billboard plaques that's in the back. So he's doing it, and this is just from dedication and hard work here. So
Thank you, man. Thank you.
so got the new project out again,
Yeah.
the Black Chapter Volume 1. Okay. So on this one, you're on some tracks with some legends.
Yes,
C
man.
C C C Peniston.
CC. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was a dream come true, to be honest with you, to work with her. And I always think about artists that I want to work with because I think about my mother who passed away in 2004, who loved
My
artists.
condolences. My
Yeah, thank you
condolences.
so much. I appreciate that. And her love for just music in general. And I always think about collaborating with artists that I think will make her happy.
Hmm.
So with Sean Stockman for the single "Do It Again," I know she loved Boyz II Men. She loved CC Peniston, and Finally was her jam. I remember Sunday mornings her playing Finally in the studio. So it's always been super cool to have that connection with her. And when I reached out to CC, she was like, "Yo, you tell me when and where, and let's get it done." I mentioned it was about, obviously Breonna Taylor and the social injustices that are happening in the world. And she said, "Hey, let's do it. Let's do this for the culture."
Right. Well, that's what's up. So y'all know CC Peniston, finally It's happening to me right in. Hey, you see, I got some talent, bro. You hear
You
it?
doing
You,
your
you
thing.
hear it? You know, I hear my
Oh,
thing.
you're
You
like,
know,
okay, okay,
you know, it's happened to me.
going
Hey, you
on.
know, hey, I'm not trying to steal your. I'm not trying to steal your acclaim. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
man, you
I can
got
go
it. You
on and
got it.
on.
I
You
have
know
to
what I
put you on the
mean?
track, G.
Man. So, how'd you hook up with Sean for Boys to Men? And explain to the listeners explain to the listeners that process as well as the name of that song and what the concept of the video is about.
Yeah, absolutely. I connected to him through Instagram. The world's a very tiny place when it comes to social media.
Right.
So I did a show in Chicago or someplace in the Midwest, maybe East Coast, and he commented on one of my videos, and I actually wrote for Boys to Men a couple years prior to that,
Mm-hmm.
and a song called Ladies Man, and then I said, okay, he's commenting on my post. I should just send him a DM. And something told me, anytime that you can do it now, just do it now. Don't think about it.
Right.
Don't wait. Just send him a message. And I sent him a DM saying, hey, I would love to work with you on some music. He said, absolutely. You name the place and the time and we can do it. So 3 months later, I sent him a message like, hey, remember me? I'm the same cat. He said, absolutely. Pull up. I told him to come by my studio in LA in Hollywood. He came by and we did Do It Again. And Do It Again is just an amazing blend of classic R&B and today's modern R&B kind of just gelled all together in one.
That's what I got. I like the video concept because
Thank
everybody looks like they're behind a computer. But but I did like the concept of it. I did like the vocal range and one Sean was able to bring that soul nostalgia
you.
in into the song itself, and um, that that was a great video. So for all the listeners that's listening, this all of this information is going to be on the promo. But
Yeah.
great video, great concept. And it was really cool to see a younger cat hook up with the legend such as Sean. Uh,
Yeah.
Boys to Men, and I think they're in Vegas. I think they're in
And I
Vegas.
mean,
They
this
had
guy is
he,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
have a bigger show.
They're Vegas. They have residency out there, and so big ups to Boys to Men. Big ups to Sean. So,
Yeah.
how long have you been in the music industry for?
Oh, man, it's been going on about 12 years now, man.
Okay,
12 years of blood, sweat, and tears and all of that good stuff.
right. And so, for all the listeners that's listening, DJ Chris always asks this question, but being in any industry is a learning process. What's the pros and cons of the industry that you are starting to figure out?
Uh, let's,
Let's start with the cons first.
the cons is the political side of it. Um, I think that what people will understand being into the business is sometimes it's not about how talented you are, but who is next to you or who has the ability to pull strings for you.
Sure.
Um, and that could be a pro seen in any given situation. But to me, in the beginning, it was a little bit of a con because you don't know anybody when you're singing on the street. So
No,
it's
absolutely.
it's all it's all designed by just your hard work and hustle.
So were
Um,
you so with that said, were you discovered, or where you are right now was palm pressing, walking up to the stairs of Capitol or whatever label. What label are you signed to?
I'm not signed to any label. Actually, I'm independent. Have my own label.
Well, that's what's up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there was a guy. Shout out to Brandon Kitchen, who was a junior A&R at Atlantic Records.
Okay.
So around the 5th year of singing, he approached me and my brother at the time and said, "Hey, do you guys write music for other people?" And I wrote music for myself, so of course I'm gonna say whatever I need to say. So if you say yeah, I'm gonna
Absolutely.
say yeah. So he had us a meeting with the VP of A&R at Atlantic Records, and that's kind of how things kind of got catapulted into where it began. But yeah, that took a while.
Okay. So what about the pros?
Oh,
And we understand the glitz, the glamour, the cameras,
yeah.
the notoriety. But aside from that, what are some of the
I think
pros?
the pros for me is, and I'm speak personally because it's my own kind of, experience from it. I think the pro for me is to be able to hear your song in various places and to watch how it affects people. To go to a concert and hear people singing at the top of their lungs to something that you wrote in a small studio or in your apartment or in your car, and you see people singing and enjoying the record. Those things make me happy, and that's a pro for me. Watching, a true experience be made at the moment when it's been done.
So, and we can get back to that. So, it's so for the listeners, I know, but as far as some of the artists that you have written for, other than the ones that we named, what are some other artists that you've written for, and what were those songs?
Yeah, of course. I worked with the legendary Charlie Wilson. I did I'm Blessed with him. I did about 4 or 5 records actually.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Gill, the iconic Johnny Gill. I did Soul of a Woman. Also, I
Mm-hmm.
did New Editions comeback single. That was a #1 record. This one's for me and you. Uh, man, the
And the list goes on and on.
then
But
the list goes. Yeah, yeah. I can't even think of some.
and so
Oh,
that means that you're really talented because first and foremost, I mean, they're just not going to line somebody up like me to work with a Charlie Wilson or to work with the New Edition. You're going to really have to have some skills and talent. And just based off of that statement in itself, we all get into whatever profession that we are. And we can be a professional, okay? Like somebody asked me the other day. Um, he says, "Well, you've been a DJ, a professional DJ, doing weddings for you know 12, 13 years.
mhm.
What keeps you passionate about it?" And I was like, um, she said, it can't be the new music that's coming out. I said, what keeps me passionate about it is being able to see people dance and reflect on the tunes that I'm able to recall. Because I'm a little bit older. But she says, well, how do you reinvent yourself? And I said, I reinvent myself by keep on reminding myself what I'm here for. How do you
Mhm.
keep reinventing yourself? You've been in the studio with legends. You have the plaques on the wall. How do you say, I want the next, what do you do in your mind to get you to the point to make the next song that you're writing for better than the last one that you wrote?
Well, I take the competition component out of it. So, some people, my peers, look at, other people and look at what they're doing and rate themselves.
You know what? Let me hold you with that. Why is that? You gotta compete in the industry though, right?
I think that it's bigger than that to me. I think that it's more of a situation. If you love it, it comes out naturally. Speaking with the voice that connects to what you love will ultimately make people enjoy what you're doing. And I think if I spent my time thinking about who had a #1 or who had a top 10 record, my sound will ultimately be their sound. And
Hmm.
how true and authentic is that of me? It's not very authentic if I'm trying to compete with a sound that somebody else already has.
No,
Now,
and with that said, and that's the reason why we have the Princes. That's the reason why we have the Madonnas and Michael Jacksons and so on and so forth, because they were the pioneers. They were basically the pioneer of their own sound and where they wanted to move music to, not necessarily on a competitive level, but for them, which ultimately generated their own audience and their following of a cult like status.
exactly, exactly. And then also too, you have to be satisfied when the records don't chart, when the records aren't #1s. You know what I'm saying? You have to be content with understanding what you're trying to do is create a path. And for me, it's about legacy. It's about a body of work that I want to leave behind that people can go, man, I loved the music over the years he began to be involved in. That's why I love Babyface so much. Babyface to me is the icon when it comes to creating timeless music. And it may not, every record is not going to catch, but when he creates something, he creates it from inward, and then you love it, and then you ended up listening back to it and be like, man, he was ahead of his time.
Hmm. Absolutely. What were what were some of your influences?
um
Who were
man
people that you looked up to?
man, I would say Maxwell, one of my favorites, of course, Face. um I was a huge fan of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. um
Hmm.
Janet Jackson. I mean, and I loved R&B groups. I remember Drew Hill, 112. Like coming up as a shorty, like I would just listen to groups all the time because that's what moved me.
Yeah, absolutely, and it supports what you were stating about as far as the competition because those names are reflective of not having to compete with
Mhm.
anyone. I mean, they were trendsetters. Uh, quite naturally, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It's funny. I heard a story about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis getting kicked out at the time. How Prince kicked them out, and
Really?
um, yeah, so it definitely worked out for them. Um, so, and this question goes hand in hand um, with what you were mentioning about earlier as far as the competition.
Mhm.
So the other flip side of that question is how do you stay relevant? And I don't mean relevant in a way to where you have thousands of people knocking on the door saying, "Hey, I want you to write the next song," but I'm talking about as far as relevancy as far as your music is concerned. How do you solidify your music? How do you say at the end of the day, this is a relevant piece of work that I've done?
Well, one thing I try to do is I know you hear I've heard a lot of people and kind of rag on today's music and they rag on kind of the what what's being done today compared to the era or genre they or sound or time they grew up in. And for me, I try not to do that. I'm just a lover of music, so I'll listen to everything. And when I listen to today's hip hop, I listen to today's R&B, I listen to country, I listen to everything, and all these influences just kind of somehow subconsciously enter my membrane and just go, okay, cool. Like,
Sure.
and I think that is the key to me wanting to stay relevant to the language that people are speaking today, because it is all about a language. And I think certain people don't speak it when you listen to certain sounds, because today's sound is obviously a lot different than what it was back in the 90s or early 2000s. So for me, it's always kind of trying to stay, and listen to what I love, which is everything.
Yeah, Carlos, but to a certain extent, you have to, and especially though, you're writing for legends. Um, if a Charlie Wilson come knock back on the door, or if a Ralph or even a Johnny Gill come knock back on the door, you're not going to be able to take. I mean, I don't know, but I'm more than sure you're not going to be able to take a Drake style, or someone that's up and coming and new, and write that song for them based on, okay, I love music, because the music of today can be influential.
Mhm.
I'll be 48 this year, and um I'll walk around singing that song, "Leave Me Alone," and uh French Montana and Drake songs and stuff like that. But I rather prefer to listen to a Charlie Wilson, and not a shade or not a diss to him, but I'm just
Yeah,
cut from that cloth.
of
And so
course.
how do you let how do you not let today's music influence what you're writing for some of these legends though?
Well, it's funny. You'd be surprised that some of the cats like Charlie and Johnny, they want the younger stuff.
Okay.
They want to feel the energy of what it's like to have a Drake record or what that sounds like. And I'll give you an example. There's a song called "I'm Blessed" I did with Charlie,
Mhm.
and he was saying for a long time he did not want to do just only like the ballad type songs, because he's known as a crooner, right? And he's at least the latter years, very powerful ballads, very powerful love songs,
Right.
but he wanted to do something different, wanted to do something gospely, but at the same time, he wanted to mix it with hip hop and R&B. So, when you listen to the chorus of "I'm Blessed," traditionally, it's not a belter. You know what I'm saying? He's not like singing it, busting out his chest singing it. Is ask
Right.
me what I'm doing, I'm blessed. Yes, living every moment, no regrets. You know what I'm saying? And that line comes from Nicki Minaj actually said it in one of her lines in a rap verse.
Yeah, yeah. Moment for Life.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a prime example of how you take a little bit of what today is going on and you move it into what somebody who's been a legend in the game for so long. It kind of fits in between the two.
Okay. So tailoring is basically what it just boils down to,
Mhm.
tailoring.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Where do you want to be in the next 5 years?
I want to do be a music mogul, man. I think, watching other people's careers take off and do very well, I'm just so honored and blessed to be a part of their careers. But I think for me, I want to be able to help other artists, younger artists, older artists, artists who just didn't get a shot. I want to be able to help give them something that they can be proud of, and then also do the same thing for myself. Creating music and going on this path as an artist has opened so many doors and allowed people to really just see the other side of me. So it's really cool just to watch this journey play out.
Hey, so you know what? There's no doubt in my mind that you will be a mogul, my man. And when you buy that building, whether it's on Sunset or Santa Monica somewhere, hey, listen, all I need is just the food pantry closet so I can record podcasts. And brother, I'll wash the windows for you and I'll vacuum the
Now, you ain't
carpets, the
got to do
floor.
none of that, bro. You just come in and get the office, man. You do the podcast out the office, man.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Do you have any do you have any regrets? And the first part of the question, and this is the last couple of questions here.
Man,
Do
good.
you have do you have any regrets? And if you can go back, if you can go back now, if you could take this person, if you could take this Carlos,
Mhm,
Jackie's boy, and
mhm.
go back and talk to the Jackie's boy that was at Venice Beach, Santa Monica, what would today's Jackie's boy tell the Carlos of 12 years ago?
I would probably tell myself, don't be so hard on yourself. One of those people that was such a perfectionist that I can sometimes get in my own way. And I think we all want to wait for the perfect and opportune time to do anything, but there isn't a perfect and opportune time.
But
You have
then
to,
but being hard on yourself though, this is where you are though, right?
yeah, but I think for me, if I was less hard on myself then, I wouldn't have so much, I guess, emotional baggage that comes along with that, because you
Absolutely.
worry about what everybody thinks instead about what makes you happy. And for
Hmm.
me, being happy and not letting stress take up the space in my mind is way more important than trying to see if someone will take your song.
If you could have one male, one female to work with to write a song for, who would that person be? Who would
Mm.
those people be?
Um, Female will be Brandy.
Mm,
Huge, huge Brandy fan.
mm.
Um, Male would probably be Maxwell. Maxwell is one of my favorites.
Maxwell is one of my favorites too. When he put down that woman's work, oh my goodness.
Man.
I'm not gonna sing it, because I don't want
You
nobody
hit
to
the high
start
notes.
crying. You know what I mean? I hit the high notes and everything. I know it don't sound like it, but that Maxwell, man. Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, man, it's been a really good time, brother. Why don't you let the people know um where they can find you at it, and mostly important of all, let the listeners know what they can expect from this new project, the Black
Yeah, I mean,
Chapter.
well, the Black Chapter to me is the soundtrack of Black America. It really, in my opinion, depicts how, these 400 years has been. Now, of course, I haven't covered everything since it's volume one, but I think what the four songs will give you a glimpse on what it's like from my experience living in this country and dealing with the things that I've dealt with, and so have my friends. Yeah, it's just a glimpse. And I think if American history was this book, in my mind, like I said, Black Chapter would be the sound of that chapter, and that chapter would be love, frustration, anger, unity, and perseverance.
Yeah, I know, and shout out to some of the artists that's on there. CC Peniston, just getting started. We have
Yeah,
Jackie's boy Nakai,
yeah,
Naka on
yeah,
N, Sweet Melanin,
yeah.
Yana. Um, then we have another artist called Soul Sense on Her to See You. So it looks
Right.
like it's a four banger. I've heard some of the tracks and it is banging. And so much love to you. And I can't wait. I'm assuming that there's going to be a chapter two or volume two, volume three that's coming out as well.
Oh yeah, man. I feel like I'm gonna keep doing volumes until the world changes. So we're gonna see a lot more of those. So
Well, yeah,
it's
we're going to definitely see a lot more of those. That's for sure.
that won't
Uh,
end.
uh,
But yeah, I mean, in the meantime, I'm actually working on a Christmas project coming out November 28th. Something
okay.
for, I feel like R&B. you know, it'd be dope to do an R&B Christmas project. So I'm gonna do that, and then the EP will come out in January.
Okay. So it's going to have something like, you know, on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a mask and a coronavirus test.
No, it will not. Exactly. I'm just crazy. I'm like the anti-Christmas song guy. Like, you're gonna listen. Anybody who listens to it is gonna be like, "Is this a Christmas album?" It is a Christmas project. It's just my interpretation of what that would sound like to me.
No. Actually, you know, you're doing what Outkast did. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that "Players Ball" was actually supposed to be a Christmas song. So,
Yeah,
yeah. Let the people know where they can find you at, sir.
absolutely. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook under Jackie's Boy, JACKIES BOY, all one word. I'm on TikTok. I'm on everything. So yeah, definitely holler at me.
That's what's up, y'all. So I told y'all, all the listeners listening, man, DJ Mr. Chris, he did it again. You know what? I'm conceited like that, y'all. I'm bringing y'all some more talent. And those DMs that y'all was sending me and everything like that, you know, y'all was wrong for that. But that's cool. I still DJ Mr. Chris love y'all. Today on Hip-Hopcalypse, hey, Mr. Jackie's boy was on Hip-Hopcalypse, y'all. That's what's up. My man, hold the line, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for having me and your amazing platform you got, brother.
Oh man, thank you, brother. I thank you so much, man.